And then like after going on a long trip and like, hey, let's dive in and record something real quick just for the hell of it. Ah, yeah, yeah, whatever. Shit.
Are you okay, buddy?
All my fellas, all my fellas, all my fellas, all my fellas, all my fellas.
Bro, man, I'm like sort of exhausted. I flew out of DC. Like I got up at 5:30. My flight left at 8. I got back to St. Louis at like 9:10 St. Louis time. And I didn't even go home. My wife and I had to buy like a suit jacket for like this conference I'm going to. But I was told, hey, wear a jacket at least. I was like, shit, okay. So I went to two different stores that the same same business, just one had more stuff more than the other, and got that figured out. And then my wife has a similar thing that she has to get some business attire, so we went out for her. And then my local had a build jam today, so I was like, hey, let me hang out with the boys. And I went there. So like, and then finally, I really was able to kind of just settle down around 7 o'clock today, 7:30 today.
Hey,
Bro, I was just like, oh. And then I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. By the way, Seth and I have both watched Gundam Seed Freedom, Gunpla Stop, Jan, Seth, Ready
Builder 2.
Worst introduction ever, but whatever. You know, we're both kind of like, I was like, man, we gotta talk. So we gotta talk about Gundam Seed, right? Gundam Seed Freedom.
Got to.
Because we both saw it in theaters. We both kind of, I think we're both kind of on the same wavelength on how we feel about it. But I really wanted to like get both. I wanted to put this on video because, as Seth being this longtime Seed fan, me being a recent, I dare say convert, because like I don't hate the series. Does it have its issues? Yes. It's an anime. They all have issues. Look at this guy. Look at this guy with physical media dinosaur.
Collector's editions.
Oh man. So this is a little special episode of Thunderbolt Radio. Now, the reason Jayhound isn't here is because he hasn't seen it, and I didn't want him to get spoiled or want him in the discussion. And also he felt that because he hasn't seen it yet, he wouldn't be able to bring anything valuable to the discussion. So I miss him not being here, but I understand. He'll be back on the next episode of Thunderbolt Radio, which actually we're recording tomorrow. So
yeah,
this will be a double-header week for y'all. Because, hey, you know what? And it's nice because we were out for so long because of weather issues on our recording date. So we just basically eliminated that one and just moved everything over.
So we took the content and pushed it somewhere else.
Basically. So, but yeah, here we are. So for the first 10 minutes of the video, we're going to talk about strictly spoiler-free stuff. We're going to keep y'all in spoiler-free territory, and then we're going to migrate over to some spoiler zone, and I'll provide another warning when that happens. But without further ado, Seed Freedom. So overall, give me a 1 through 10.
Okay, am I giving you 1 through 10 as a Gundam movie, or am I giving you a 1 through 10 as a Seed fan?
So, okay, that's an interesting question because, like, if you're a fan of the material, right, you're gonna go watch it.
Yeah,
I love stunning visuals. I like cool action sequences. I don't care if the rule of cool is everywhere. You know, I don't go to anime. I do enjoy when anime blows my mind, but like, I don't go to watch a Seed. I don't go to Seed content for some Freerin level, big brain, right? I go to Seed because it's kind of like dumb action. It really is. With a subplot that's oriented for a different audience, but yeah. So no, man, just give me your personal opinion.
So as a Seed fan, I want to give it like a solid 8. I think 8 is a good place to put it because it's still Seed. You know, there's still some issues with it, some stuff that we're going to get into later. But I think a solid 8. Now, as somebody, I'd give it a 5 overall as just like a straight up movie. And my reasoning for that is you have to have watched Gundam Seed and Seed Destiny to really understand what's going on in this movie, especially Destiny.
Okay, so I'm gonna agree with you on the rating because initially I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 in my personal rating, right? The only reason it got dinged, in which case I think I retracted, and I said in our Discord, our private Discord, I said I'd even give it an 8 out of 10 if I ignored the little things that I had to split hairs on. Like, for example, the English dub cast from, I want to say this is the Ocean dub cast, or is it a mixture?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure
because Kira's voice is not the Sunrise voice.
No, and I don't even think it's the same voice actor from the remastered version.
Okay, so like, I liked Kira's voice. I felt that it sounded mature. It sounded a little, and it didn't have that fucking nasally, like, oh, when he started being, when eventually Kira does Kira shit, cool and dumb, because it happens, right? It's not Seed unless Kira, cries, but
and he does.
Yeah, and he does, right? So, shocker! Oh my god,
check that box,
right? But I like that. My thing was the pronunciation of certain names, and that, like I said, that is splitting hairs. But when I heard Lacus, like literally the first time I heard they say Lacus, I looked at one of our mutual friends, RHC Gumpla, who he and I watched the movie together. I looked at, I was like, that's gonna drive me nuts.
So I will defend that, and the reason I am is because it didn't bother me that much, because that is how they pronounce her name in the remastered versions. So
that's cool and all, but it hurt. It hurt to hear.
Yeah, because even in the Japanese, it's still, to my knowledge, it's still Lacus.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the remastered and where this version got Lacus from, but I'm really glad they fixed Diarca's name, because the original dub was Diarca. Then the remastered version calls him Diarca. Yeah, I know, it's that hurt my soul, and then it went back to Diarca, and I'm just like, oh, thank you for fixing that. Why Lacus though?
I don't get it. I that bothered the hell out of me, because it almost felt like, so to not go off on a tangent, like whenever a new manager comes in, they typically like to change something as a form of like, here, I left my print. This is what that feels like. Someone just like, I made that decision. There's no such a thing as bad publicity. So it's
yes,
like,
there is.
Well, you know what I mean.
I know.
But yeah, like it almost felt like just some random, like, hey, we're just gonna throw that out there, and we're just gonna make that happen, and that's it. But But again, that is one of the few reasons why I gave it a 7.5. But all in all, I enjoyed it a lot. There were moments where I was like cheering, clapping, smiling ear to ear. It was just an enjoyable ride. Visuals were beautiful.
Absolutely.
Whenever the director does an opener, explaining some of the things, challenges they faced whenever they were making the movie. And it's funny because like they asked him, was it hard? And he said, yes, it was very, very hard. He specifically highlighted that the transitions from CGI animation to traditional 2D animation were the biggest hurdles that they had to overcome. And I'm not gonna lie, I spent the entire movie looking out for those transitions, because they happen in Unicorn, they happen in Hathaway's Flash, they happen in most modern Gundam. So you kind of tend to, it's almost like your eyes are looking for it. I'd say that there's very few moments where I think transitions were kind of All in all, I think the movie was beautiful and very smooth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Rule of Cool was in several places. If you've seen the 6-minute opener on Gundam Info,
Subbed and dubbed, by the way.
So that yeah, I watched the dub. I actually watched them both because the dub wasn't around when it first popped up.
Yeah, the sub came out first,
and so I remember watching it, and it's funny because the next 5 to 7 minutes after that, it's almost like even more gas than what you just saw.
I really was not expecting it to go the direction that it did, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but like the amount of action that immediately takes place after that 6-minute opener, like I was like, okay, you know, it's done. It's not done.
Exactly. Yeah, because you think that it's like, oh, then like, oh no, and it's a very. I honestly think that the ideas and the themes used and the fact that there is a continuing through line from Destiny into this was a great decision because
it was
because not that I'd say that it forces you to watch Destiny, but it at least it provides this very, very nice connective tissue across from Seed to Seed Destiny to now Seed Freedom.
So
and, yeah,
for me, having the plot from Seed Destiny, like the big final plot, continue into this movie, I like that a lot more because you see a lot of these movies come out where they create this villain or they create this scenario out of thin air and they like loosely tie it. No, this is directly tied into the events from the series. It's a clear continuation. The idea behind the big bads makes sense, and I think it's better narratively for that.
Yeah, and I was going to use Endless Waltz as an example. Like Endless Waltz, Dawn of the Trailblazer from 00, those two movies, they have the connection from the series to the movie is very thin. It almost feels like, for example, with Endless Waltz, and the weird thing is that Endless Waltz fixes a lot of the problems from the series, but it's almost like it almost feels like it has to allow the plot to make sense.
It's like they shoehorned it in.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 with that, but for the most part, it's like, hey, we have to add the pilots' backstories so you can understand why the real Operation Meteor is so bad and who the real big bad is, because it's the true architect, and why it's it's this thing where like let's add the fact that the true Operation Meteor wasn't what the boy band did. There's another one. And so, but you need to know their history as to why they changed their mind and they took it upon themselves, et cetera, et cetera. With Dawn of the Trailblazer, it was like, hey, there was always this line used in 00, and it was, we must come to an understanding for the dialogues to come. That was like the big through line from season 1 to 2.
Season 1 to the movie.
And then the movie throws out the dialogues as being, oh yeah, by the way, the L's are coming, and then it's just this, what the fuck? Like it was it felt left field, and I love 00. Like 00 to me is one of my favorite modern AU stories, and it's just like I can't overlook the fact that I can honestly watch season 1 or 2 of 00 and forget about Trailblazers. I can honestly just skip it because it just it's like, even though it has the coolest version of the Quant. Because
the coolest sets in a suit,
dude. The L's Quant, yeah, that's nice.
Well, before we get too off topic,
and don't be a fucking coward, make it.
Before we get too off topic, what did you think of the Rising Freedom and the Immortal Justice, design wise?
Okay, so let me pull them up on the screen, that way folks can see window. Here we go. Okay. So, the Rising Freedom, I'm not going to lie, I actually absolutely love this suit.
I think it is an absolute downgrade. I hate it.
Well, for the rest, if watching the rest of the movie, it's, duh. But there are a few aspects of the armaments that I was just like, I was watching the movie, I was like, what? Like, and I don't really think this is I don't think this is a spoiler, but like the cannons on the hips, they're not lasers. It's almost like they're firing artillery.
They are, because the original Freedom's railguns on the side also fired physical rounds.
Okay. I don't know why I thought it was all it was all like a beam.
Because the ones on the Strike Freedom are.
Okay, there we go. See,
So
again,
this
I'm
took
not
a
a
step
seed.
back.
I'm not a seed expert, so this is
Yeah.
why. So it's because I thought that was kind of funky, but see, there is a design aspect with seed suits that I just absolutely love. I love the beam sabers on the hips. That is something that I have been in love, that I've loved to see. I love to see it in Build Fighters, and I love seeing it in Seed. I actually bought a
very
real grade.
nice.
I actually bought I even bought
Very
a real grade
knight-like.
Seed suit today, by the way. So
Oh, what'd you get?
the Spec 2.
Yes. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. But like, I like it. I understand that it's a downgrade, but I think it's a downgrade for a reason, because the whole, hey, we're this compass, we're this peacekeeping force, and and on top of that, it's a Gundam movie. You can't start off with there will be upgrades, right?
Yes.
So you got to set a baseline. It's what the enemies do all the time, but they reestablish the power levels, right? So
I have one, and the reason I don't like it, I mean, other than the fact that it is a downgrade, it's meant to be that, but design-wise, there's one thing that aggravates the ever-living crap out of me. Why is the upper torso the same color as the shoulders? All of the Freedoms, the Freedom, the Strike Freedom, and then the rest of them down the line, they all have a black upper torso, or like a dark navy.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Why did they do this? Just make the torso, like, you can leave the knees, that's fine, but make the torso like that dark navy or that black, like make it match like the wings.
Hey, I'm considering buying another Rising Freedom to tweak it a little bit. So I might do that, because that's a really good idea. I didn't even realize that.
I think if it did that to me and changed the head just a little bit, because I think this is the ugliest face on a Freedom Gundam so far.
Man, why you gotta say that? Because I actually like it. I like it a lot.
I think it's the cheeks. Make the cheeks a slightly different color, or give it like the mouth slits. But design wise, I'm not super digging this one.
Let's see. No, I'm trying to see that maybe there's a better picture, because this is. Oh,
Black
okay.
torso.
So somebody recolored
Somebody
it.
recolored it. That looks way better.
Yeah. I'd agree.
They fixed it. There you go. It's fixed. I love it now.
Because I really like the whole like no muzzle, the no vent, no face vents. I've always loved that like flat.
It's very Zeta-esque.
I would say double O, but yeah.
No, double O's got face slits, I think.
Exia does not. Well, I'm saying like double O. I'm saying like double O, like the series.
Yeah.
But like, and I know the Wave Rider or the flying mode got a lot of heat. I don't know if this is just me being, because I my first series was Wing. I thought it was kind of cool. Like, I didn't care. I was like, yeah, it's cool. I'm good with it. I'm fine with it.
Like I get it, but like the Savior Gundam transforms, but I think its transformation is a lot better. But this just, especially in the movie, is completely unnecessary and served no purpose to the plot.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was just kind of like, hey, let's give the thing a gimmick,
Yeah, and for that reason, it's cool, but definitely change the colors, and I'm very, very happy with that.
Yeah, that color change is pretty cool. I was like, yeah, that
Way
works.
So what about the Immortal? There it goes, the Immortal Justice.
So I'll say, like, kit wise, like, using the kit as so having built both, they really did like put all their eggs in one basket when it came to the engineering and the Rising Freedom. This thing kind of felt like just I don't even want to call it a step up or anything. It just literally felt like a lateral move from the Infinite Justice high grade to this, because I didn't really feel there was anything new when it came to engineering. It looked, I mean, it looks cool and everything, but it did definitely feel. I'll talk about this in the spoiler part, but there's something that the pilot says, and the more I watch the movie and the more I study this design, the more I agree.
So, and I will absolutely touch on that in a minute because I know exactly what you're talking about. Design wise, though, just like looking at it, I think this is the second best red mobile suit from the Seed universe.
What's your favorite red one?
The Savior Gundam.
You're more of a Savior. Okay.
Yeah, I love the Savior Gundam. So for me, it's Savior Gundam, Immortal Justice, Infinite Justice Spec 2, Justice Gundam, Aegis Gundam.
Interesting that you put Spec 2 that much lower, but knowing how you rank, knowing like what you like on those, I get it.
They just strapped an X-wing to the back of it and gave it beam sabers.
It looks pretty cool. Damn it! The rule of cool followed after him.
Oh my god! So, and I guess it's not really a spoiler because it does show in the first 6 minutes who's actually piloting this particular mobile suit.
Yeah, but the element of what the subsequent reason why he says what he says when it comes to the suit, that's what I want to touch on later.
Anyways, but yeah, I love this. I absolutely love it. I really, really want to get one, and I recently saw somebody do a kit bash of this and the Savior Gundam, and I kind of want to copy that idea and kind of do my own thing with it, and it looks really, really cool. So I love this design. I think this might be the second best designed mobile suit that came out of this movie.
I could give you that.
You're gonna laugh when I tell you what I think the best design from the movie is.
I am pretty damn sure I know which one it is, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
This one, oh my god!
Yes, Gelgoog Menace. Yes.
This one. So our partner in crime, Jayhound,
hates it.
Yeah, he's a really big Gelgoog guy, right? He loves Gelgoogs. He doesn't even think this thing belongs in the same. It's one of those things where we grant you a seat at the table, but you're allowed to sit on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master. That's kind of basically what he thinks about this thing. So it's kind of hilarious every time I bring it up because he's like, it's not a real Goku. But like, I actually looked at it a little bit and I'm like, if you change a few things here and there, you could tweak it a little bit more. It could definitely get away with being a Goku, because there is a scene in the very beginning of the movie in the 6-minute opener when it's launching. It has the Seed version of the Balut pack, and it has these wide tabs. And I'm like, if it would have kept that, or at least that would have been the size of the legs, and it would have been a little closer. But all in all, I really liked it. There's an alternate color later on in the movie that I like even more. And hey, I'm with it. I actually like it a lot. I bought the kit. I was going to build it today, but I'll probably just build it sometime later in the week. Yeah,
So for me, I think the line art is really trashy, and it doesn't. The line art doesn't reflect how it looks in the movie or the model kit.
Yes.
So it looks really goofy here, but when you actually see it in action, I think it looks great. The proportions are a lot better because even in this line art, like the head crest looks a little big to me. The shoulders look a little small. The bell bottoms are kind of small. And I think the line or the animation version of it, the actual in motion version and the model kit fixes all of that.
Yeah. It
terrible
really
line
does.
Art, great everything else.
Well, it's the same thing with wait, hold on.
But I like it. I like it.
There's the blue version.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, and someone out there is gonna freak out, but it's gonna be a P Bandai, so just be prepared for that.
Dude, really? That's gonna be a P Bandai? Really? I never saw that coming.
Right?
Sarcasm.
Crazy. But no, yeah, like I like. Okay, so like, yeah, so here's the box art for the kit. It looks insane.
That looks so cool,
right? The model kit looks great.
The model kit looks good. The proportions are way better.
Hey, Jayon, if you're watching it, if you're gonna be watching this, that's a Gilgu, buddy. I'm sorry.
I see where he's coming from. I talked to him one-on-one. I get the whole Zaku Menace thing, like the Zaku Menace instead of the Zaku Warrior. I get where he's coming from, but I mean, like, it's on the council. It might not have the rank of Jedi Master, but it's on the council.
Hey man, Gilgu is a spectrum.
Okay, what do we got next?
Okay, so next we got the Gyan.
I was hoping it was going to be the Gyan.
So this has got multiple versions because there's 2 in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So the pilot.
So let's just look at Agnes's.
Yeah, that's one, right?
Agnes's. What?
Yeah, because Agnes has a regular the Gyan Storm, and then there's the atmosphere pack, and then the regular like ground. So like for being I want to say that this is a mixture of 2 suits, honestly, because it's not strictly the Gyan. I want to say it's like the Gyan, and then they took aspects from like the.
I think it's the Jin. Is it the Jin?
No, I'm saying like what other use like so the oh my god, it's the Gundam. It's green. It has 2 big ass cannons. The Calamity. This thing looks like it took some design aspects from the Calamity. Like look at the shoulders. I think it kind of gives a Calamity vibes with the shoulders. That's probably about it. But the Gyan, my only thing is that I wish things were swept a little bit further back, kind of like in Build Fighters, where they take Gyan idea, like design cues, and they sweep them. Am I being insane, or am I like?
I mean, like when they did the oh god, what was her name from Build Fighters Try that had the double shielded Gyan Knight thing?
Oh, the Gyansalot?
Gyansalot, that's it. Yeah.
But I think this was a really cool suit. I liked it. I like the weapon loadout that it has. Let's see. This is a shot from the movie. Which is funny because like she's got like this fucking beam rifle, right? And literally in the first 6-minute shots, she's like, my suit is made for close quarters combat. And I'm like, well, you tell me you can't pick people off with this thing? Whatever. Either way. Yeah, so some action shots, and then that's the kit with that sick axe. I'm not gonna lie, that axe is nice.
Okay, yeah. I just looked up the Calamity. That thing's got massive shoulders on it. I think it's a cross between like the size of the Calamity or the design of the Calamity shoulders, but the size of the Jin shoulders.
Yeah, I agree with that.
With kind of like the flight pack off of the Jin as well.
Yeah.
Overall, I like this for a seed version of a Jin. I think this is Jin. For the seed version of a Gyan, I think this hit the nail on the head. It's really cool. You can see the UC influence in it.
Oh yeah.
But the shield having like beam emitters is way more seed than like it's shooting a bunch of missiles. That was a really good touch.
I think that was a good way to kind of ground it and keep it a little more close combat.
Yeah,
and keeps the shield a little more compact. Because it's not as bulbous as like the UC version of right? It's like nice and round. Let's see. I think what's next. The Spec 2.
I can't talk about the Spec 2 until we get into spoilers.
Okay,
it looks exactly like the other one.
Yeah. So okay. So overall, that's kind of like what we're at with the movie. I think it's safe to say that we can kind of give the spoiler warning at this point because there's a lot of things that we can't really talk about. So just folks out there listening, if you're listening on Spotify or if you're watching on YouTube, we give you about 10 seconds before we jump over to spoiler territory. And then once we're in spoiler territory, it's everything.
Yep.
So just gonna give you guys. I'm gonna give you.
So I think the home release, like the streaming and the home release for Seed Freedom, isn't until November. So if you want to know more about this movie, stick around. If you want to save yourself and wait until potentially November, you might want to dip.
Dude, November. Damn, that sucks.
I was just looking it up today because a buddy of mine literally asked me Thursday night when Seed Freedom was coming out, and I'm just like, bro, it came out yesterday. He's like, well, when can I go see it? I was like, you can't. One and done, baby. Man. One and done. One sub, one dub.
Folks gotta pay attention to releases, man.
Yep.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that everybody that's decided to jump off has jumped off. So we're gonna dive into spoiler territory at this point.
Let's talk about the overclocked Impulse Gundam.
Okay. So Impulse Spec 2. I'll just put the kit picture right here. The metal robots.
Yeah, the Alpha or the Force, whichever version you want to call it. It's like a little darker, but it looks the same. The biggest difference is with the sword and the blast silhouettes.
Yes. So, and I'll actually put those here because... So the sword silhouette, and also specifically the pilot. So it's not Shin piloting the sword, the Impulse.
It's Luna Maria.
It's Luna Maria. And which actually, when we were watching the movie, I noticed that whenever the sword pack hit, I was like looking at the animation. I'm like, why the hell is that suit so red? And then I'm like, oh, hell yeah!
It's overclocked.
So
it's got a new reactor.
Yeah, so like, hell yeah, this is awesome. And then on the blaster pack, I wanted to say I saw the blaster pack and this gave me like G3 vibes, but with like a hue of green, which I was like, this is sick. So I'm not gonna lie, I think the Impulse Gundam is really cool. I love the design. I think it's very sleek. It's a proper successor.
Good Gundam design.
Yeah, it's a proper. It's what I feel the Ale Strike should have looked like. Because God forbid I do not like the Strike. I am not a Strike fan. I think it looks too basic.
Yeah. So I know in the movie they said that these have new reactors. I want to assume that the Impulse has been converted to a nuclear reactor, but since they still use the deuterium beam in the movie, I think this still has a battery reactor in it.
Well, he used the beam
from the Destiny Gundam because the Destiny's nuclear.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The Destiny, the Legend, the Strike Freedom, and the Justice are all nuclear powered Gundams. So I think they kept the Impulse with a battery, but I think they overclocked the hell out of the battery.
I'm gonna start closing a few of these we've already talked about.
Yeah.
All right. So those are the
I like
impulses.
that it goes all red. I like that it goes all green. I think it's really, really cool. And it helps distinguish the different versions of the silhouette packs from each other.
Oh, yeah. I liked it a lot. I thought that was a really good touch.
It was. I got hyped when that sword pack hit and that, like, you see the face shift to red. I was like, no.
I love like whenever they deployed the Impulse. They deployed the Impulse plus weapons packs, and they were basasically just there, loitering, waiting for her to call them.
Yeah, and it's got a whole new guidance system.
Yeah, and that was just really cool. I geeked out a lot whenever the Impulse was out because I was like, this is sick. This is something we hadn't seen before. Then let's see. So obviously, this is kind of a no-brainer because the kits had been released or had been teased, but the Freedom does reappear because of the Black Knights. The Rising kind of gets his ass kicked a little bit. Actually, a lot of it. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Which
it gets trashed.
Yeah. Which in the gimmick with the Black Knights, the Black Knights are what's called Accords, which are basically coordinators, but super coordinators meant to follow the Destiny plan to a T. So they are what Kira is basically, but supposedly better because they go on the Destiny plan. Is that am I getting that correctly?
Yeah, so they're like Uber coordinators.
Okay.
So Kira is supposed to be the perfect coordinator. They are supposed to be a being that is beyond Kira. So they can mess with people's heads, they can communicate telepathically, and they were meant to help lead humanity during the Destiny plan.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's funny that when you first see them pop up on the screen, and like you see like these guys.
They wasted no time showing that they were a bunch of a-holes.
Like, dude, these guys. So like her creepy little
We'll
girl.
get into her in a minute.
Or if he looks basically like a freaking Roller Crusade, like with a nice livery. This dude, bro, if you show up dressed like this, and if your hair goes up to 2 horns like this, like you're
Bro,
so fucking.
he's got fucking devil horns.
It's like, oh wow, he's the bad guy. Fuck out of here, really?
No.
With a name like Shura Serpentine, yeah, dog, you're a bad guy.
Yeah, anybody that has serpent or viper or any kind of snake motif in their name, clearly they're the good guy, right?
Right, and then you have potential.
I actually
wife
kind of liked her as a character.
I thought she was good. She's a bit of a tragic character, because of the Destiny plan, her true feelings for Orpha. Orphe, like they didn't come to fruition, and because he was so wrapped up with Lacus, and it was just like this whole thing. That's the whole like romantic undertone for it all, but an oversimplification. But yeah, I thought she was kind of a tragic character. I did like her because she honestly felt like one of the few that made sense, like that she understood what was going on.
Yeah, like she wasn't completely. She had more individuality than anybody else. Like she seemed like she had doubts about the Destiny plan, even though she was designed and created to lead in the Destiny plan. She was just like, but I kind of like Orphe a lot, or Orphe, whatever his name is.
And then, which we got.
Honestly, I didn't bother remembering the rest of their names because none of them did anything.
Well, you have to have a Nana Trinity counter, wannabe in there. It's a crazy lady, because she was like laughing and smiling, like, "You're gonna die!" Like this was her.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, basically.
But
forgettable, but yeah,
forgettable. She died.
Yeah, this asshole. Died. Okay, so whenever it was showing like, oh yeah, by the way, this is a Black Knight squad. The camera goes to this guy. I'm like, okay, they're obviously not nice. You're gonna show a dude with a mask like this, freaking some Bane fan over here. Like, yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Oh wow, you're a bad guy. Surprise! And then this fuckboy.
Now he could have passed as not such a bad guy. Oh no.
There we go. We're good now.
Yeah. He could have passed as like a half decent dude until like that one scene when like Kira and company are walking past him and he's like leaned over everybody with this like sinister sneer on his face and just like, couldn't they just have one? But no, apparently not. He dies.
So it's just kind of this like it's hilarious because this whole group of folks, it's like, yeah, they're bad guys.
They're clearly bad.
This guy was also rather forgettable. I
don't even think he had more than like 2 lines in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly.
So as a concept, I think the Black Knight squad is really, really cool, and I really like their mobile suits. But as individuals, I think they should have made the squad a little bit smaller, a little more elite, and given the individual members a little bit more dialogue or room to breathe. Having said that, tell me that doesn't look like an enemy suit.
Dude, I built the kits, and I was like, yeah,
they're good.
Oh yeah, wait. I don't want to get into that one.
And they're all different colors. Like when they all launched together, I was just like, go Black Knight Rangers,
right? So like, okay, so the other guys, they all have the same model, but different colors.
Yes. And
so the blue one and the pink one are the 2 girls, and then these are the two other dudes, and then they're the dude, obviously not a bad guy with the horns for hair. This is what he pilots. And again, it's pretty sick. beam sabers pointed the way they are, and he's got 3 on the hilt. Like that's just cool shit. Like yeah, the beat, and it's funny because like whenever we were watching the movie, I had this like theory as to the beam shield is to protect them from rear attacks, and no, it was just to look cool.
It was just to look cool, and I love that about them.
I was like, okay, all right, cool, that's fine. But it was just like, oh yeah, it just looks really cool.
It just looks really cool. But I mean, so they've got a more advanced version of the phase shift armor on them. So they don't even need that shield. They use that shield more offensively than anything else because it's got that grappling hook on it. They don't block anything because they don't have to.
Bunch of losers.
Yeah.
They played on easy mode.
I'm telling you, man, like hacks
Yes.
activated. Oh man! So what other mobile suits do we have? I want to talk about this one later. Okay.
So these were pretty cool. These are like mobile dolls ish kind of.
I think like G-Bits.
Yeah. So this one and the Dinar, they look pretty cool. But again, I spent the whole time like, what are these guys? Because I never
they
seen
didn't
them
do
before.
much either.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yes, the dual blitz Gundam.
So with Diarca and Izak. I'm not gonna lie. When Izak came in and said, I'm Izak Yule, head of Zaft Intelligence, I was like, this guy right here got a great glow up. I loved it, and then like he comes into Kigali sees him on the conference call, and like all he does is whisper in the ear of the leader of Zaft, and it's just like,
and they just dip off.
I'm like, steal. Oh yeah,
and then to find out that they not Kieran the group, but Diarca and Izak, they're the ones that steal the Eternal this time. They're the ones that get the meteor units. They're the ones out there looking like a couple badasses. I wish they had more screen time, but. They did so good. It was so good seeing them on screen like that. I really enjoyed seeing, and it's crazy because before, there was always this tension with them, but this time I felt that all the pilots, like all the Gundam pilots, basically they all understood the assignment. They all were basically kind of operating on the same wavelength, so to speak. Yep.
And because so like to kind of go back a little bit, this whole thing kickstarts because the Accords basically invade Kira's mind to make him kickstart a global, a whole conflict across the Earthsphere because he crosses a boundary that he's not supposed to, and he attacks, and then they basically, the Accords use that as an excuse to wipe out the Yamato team.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what kickstarts the whole plot.
In doing that, they launched nukes at themselves. Like, how confident are you to start a global crisis by shooting nukes at yourself?
Yeah, they launched 3 nukes, one nearby that after the Black Knight squad takes out the Archangel. So after 2 series, the Archangel finally, rest in peace,
officially goes down.
And then on top of it gets nuked. And
there's no coming back from that.
I want to bring up this one suit that I want to tell you right now, man. When that kit comes out, and why am I not seeing it? This is bugging. The freaking there it is. My boy Moo.
Oh man, the Morosai Kai.
So whenever the Archangel gets taken down, and by the way, Mula Flaga is piloting this beautiful seed version of the Zeta plus A1 or C1.
I'm sorry, I said Morosai. That's Morasame. That's my bad.
Yeah, Morasame. Yeah. Oh, you're good. Lacus. So, but yeah, so he's piloting this, and he's keeping, he's holding his own and shit, and which, because Boo is Giga Chad. and he ends up saving Maru Ramius in the last minute before the nuke hits the Archangel, and it's kind of just this,
Outruns the explosion.
and outruns it. There's this very very interesting bit that I noticed in the animation where when the Murasame Kai is in Wave Rider form and it's doing these acrobatic maneuvers, you see the air compression on the wings and everything as you would on a fighter jet.
Yeah.
Just really, really crazy attention to detail when it comes to how specific mobile suits.
Best grunt suit right there. That thing is awesome. I love it.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm buying like 3 of these.
Oh, you got to.
I want to paint one, and I want to have one in Wave Rider mode and one in Gundam form. But I feel like it's just such a cool suit.
Yep.
Like easily my favorite suit in the entire movie. I don't know why. It calls to me. It was like, this is so sick.
It's not mine, but we'll talk about mine in a minute. But can we go back to the duel for a second?
Yeah. Come on, but let's click on the wrong window.
I love the tribute to Nicole, however you want to pronounce his name with this.
Yeah,
that got me in the feels that he still holds his friend in such high regard to have his personal mobile suit re-outfitted with his equipment. The only thing he's missing is a Tricaral Sky.
And that's one of the things I really, really liked about the thought that went into some of these designs. I almost feel like there was more thought. Oh gosh, Louis, jeez. Louis. Oh God,
it's not a recording session if Louis doesn't show up.
Oh right. Oh God, buddy. Oh man. So that was one thing that I really, really liked about both the Duel and the Blitz. I mean both the Duel and the Buster, is that their versions I almost feel like the side suits got more love than the mains. Is that crazy to even think about? Because I think the mains kind of, I don't want to say relied on nostalgia, but it was like, hey, by the way, these are better versions of the ones that you already liked from the main series. And then these are like, oh yeah, by the way, the Duel and the Buster and a bunch of other suits are getting an upgrade.
And add to cart.
Oh yeah, did you see? If you saw the release of the pack for the Destiny.
We'll get into that in a minute. Yeah. We'll get into that silhouette. But what do we got next? The Lightning?
The Lightning Buster.
The Lightning Buster. So I didn't like this one as much. I thought it was neat, but it wasn't a massive change.
Yeah, it just seems like it took, instead of having the two pieces that become one, it's just, hey, these are two big off guns.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, but this one definitely shares more with its originator, and it doesn't really have anything, at least to me, it doesn't really seem like it has anything beyond being a bigger Buster.
Nope, but it was cool to see it in the Meteor unit.
Oh, hell yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
I loved it. What's next?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. No, that's just
I mean, at least it looks cool.
Yeah. I honestly have always thought that if you recolor this this tan and give it a different color, I don't know, like one of these colors has to change, or actually properly give it a tan, then everything else will look fine.
Give it a proper tan, shift the green to black.
Oh shit, that would look sick. I'm thinking about that.
I got you.
Okay, so it's just a regular Jin.
Nothing new there.
Nothing new. The dagger. Nothing new.
Yeah, I mean, so that was a special dagger.
Yeah.
There's a whole backstory to it, but somebody else has already done a video on it that's a lot better than anything I can explain. The Windams.
The Windams. The Destroy. You see him in the first 6 minutes of the movie.
And they come back a couple times. Archangel.
Yeah. Archangel, the Millennium. That was a sick ship, by the way.
I do like the Millennium. And I love the little nod that they call it a Minerva class ship.
Oh, yeah.
The very first Minerva class ship. So The Millennium is a Minerva class. They still have the Archangel, and that's a really, really good callback to the shows, to the Seed and Seed Destiny.
And they use a maneuver called the Badgerul maneuver.
I noticed that. It was so,
Yeah.
oh man, it was so smart. It was so smart to bring her back.
The Millennium was just a really, really, I really like the design.
And like how it did. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, and like how it's revealed in the first 6 minutes of the movie. It's just like comes out of the shadow of the earth, and it's just like this big thing. It's like, oh yeah, I like that. I like that.
So I think it's really cool. The Minerva was designed to launch the Impulse. Like the whole gimmick was that the Impulse belonged to the Minerva, and it's designed to have the catapults to launch the Impulse. Where this one is also designed, but it's built to launch the Impulse as a complete unit. I think that's a really good touch for obviously it calls back to the Minerva itself. I like it because this survives.
Yeah. And then this is the goal. Yeah, the bad guy shit. It's very, very alien like, but I mean, yeah, I didn't really see anything special on anybody else's designs. I thought the Minerva kind of really took the
that looks like something out of Star Trek.
Looks like a Romulan freaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it looks like.
But let's see what else we got. So this is on the website. These are just like the actual like lists on the website with no spoilers, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh yeah, the Mighty Strike
Freedom. I want to save that for last.
Okay.
Yes, my boy.
All right. So the Chunky Boy. I'm not gonna lie. This guy gave me a smile on my face every time for some stupid reason.
I gotta make sure people hear me. Athrun put in the work with the Zagok.
Dude, it was cracking me up because Athrun was just a grade A troll with the Black Knights. This guy was on the mental game.
He knew
he was dialed in. He was dialed in because it was just like with this. And I'm over here like watching, like, dude, Athrun is keeping up, like, which is funny because there's a comment thrown out there whenever they do a sword fight with the Black Knights.
Athrun was obviously the strongest,
and it was like, because Kira didn't want any of the smoke, so then Shin jumped in and Shin got beat. So they were like, well, so we're assuming that Athrun is the best, which I'm going to sit here and honestly think that I think Athrun is the better technical mobile suit pilot because he proved it. In this dude was going toe to toe with the Black Knight Squadron and this Chunky Boy,
bro. So for starters, like Athrun shows up and he is all business from the second he hits the screen until the movie ends. The man shows up, he puts the work in, he goes home and he bangs his senator wife or whatever. Because they're married now. President. Yeah, president. They're married now. I don't know if you call it that. He
was thinking those impure thoughts.
Oh yeah, but
maybe that for later.
But I mean, like, I just love the Zagok. I love the big horn on the Zagok. The seed design of it is really cool. But not only that, there's a scene where Kira and Athrun switch mobile suits, and Athrun is actually piloting the regular Strike Freedom and using the Dragoon system.
Yeah, so that was a great moment because the lead of the Black Knights is fighting the Freedom, and for some reason he can't sense his thoughts, and he's going in, and he's like, what the hell? And then he figures out that it's actually Athrun in the Freedom, and Athrun just proceeds to just be a fucking troll, and even though the Dragoons are getting taken out, he's still like putting in work. So Athrun showed up, he understood the assignment, and he did he put it in. He put in the hours.
The scene where like the Zagok hit that fighting stance,
dude,
with the heat claws. They gave it heat claws.
It's funny because like I remember when they announced this thing and everybody understood that there's a suit inside it. It was funny as hell because I didn't think that before it revealed what's inside that it was going to be as cool as it was.
I can't wait for this high grade to come out. I want one so bad. I didn't even care that the Infinite Justice Spec 2 was in that thing. I don't give a fuck. That thing is just so cool on its own. It's the best thing out of the movie.
So speaking of the Infinite Justice Spec 2,
A major downgrade from the Zagak.
man, I like this thing because Atherin was busy.
So there was when I was in the theater, there was only about 15 people in the theater watching this movie, 15 other people with me at most. So all of us, we were all literally clustered together in the middle of the theater, and we were all cracking up. When Atherin hit the freaking beam saber out of the horn, I just yelled in the middle of the theater, "Unicorn!" And that is the exact reaction I got. It was great.
I really like this design. I think it's mainly because I like the use of the beams on the wings. I think it's kind of cool.
All jokes aside, I do like this.
And so, but speaking of the Justice, where is he?
You want to know how to make a good Atherin suit, Jan?
What?
The way to make a good Atherin suit is just slap a bunch of beam sabers on it, and when you run out of room to add beam sabers, you redesign it to add more beam sabers. Not enough on the backpack, give it a second set of wings. Still not enough, give it a freaking blade on its head.
And, well, he still had the blades on his legs too.
So he's got 2 beam sabers, 4 on the backpack, 1 on the head, 1 on each leg, a beam saber out of his freaking Swiss Army knife of a shield.
Yeah.
He's got all the beam sabers.
Not much change with the Akatsuki, aside from it has the silhouette pack, which is kind of like a mobile armor of sorts.
Ooh.
Think of it more like a very simplified version of the Apex for the narrative, how it has something on the legs. It's got a big gun.
Yep. One thing has changed with the Akatsuki Gundam.
Okay.
I bought one.
Hey, I bought that third party one. Don't tell anybody.
I did too. You just told everybody.
Nah, ain't nobody watches. They're like, oh, these 2 guys. Nobody cares. But no, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of excited for it because
I think Hector just finished it.
Oh yeah.
I just got a notification. I think Hector just finished it.
Sweet.
Oh no! He was reacting to me building Zero today.
Oh, okay. So I like the Akatsuki, especially when Mu goes from that to that
for like 3.5 seconds.
Hey, but he once again pilots the Akatsuki, which is great.
But I mean, again, he put the work in the Murasame, and then he switched over to the Akatsuki. He understood the assignment. He showed up. He executed, and then he moved on.
Exactly.
Like that's because of the shorter runtime, they literally made everybody in the movie as competent as they possibly could be.
That was one thing that I did notice, that the only time there was any sort of incompetence was really when Kira had his breakdown. And when he had his breakdown, it was kind of funny because I'll kind of paint the picture in the theater. Because I had a group of friends that did the same thing. Kira starts bawling. He starts like, oh, I said everything's hopeless, blah, 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 blah. And it'll never change. Atherin basically says it basically pulls a Magneto from X-Men 97 and says, enough. And just decks this dude. And so whenever Atherin hit him, Jishin and I, RC Gunpla and I, both were like, hell yeah. We're like clapping and shit. We're like, hell yeah, man. Like, woo, yeah, let's go. Fucking beat his ass, young Midoriya. Beat his ass, young Midoriya.
And he did.
And he put in the work. Like
Kira caught hands.
Beat the shit out of Kira. And then on top of that, this is kind of like, holy damn, dude. And then when Shin tries to stop the fight, Shin gets astray and gets put on the floor, and then they continue fighting. So it's just like this, like
by both of them. He got hit by both of them.
Atherin did not give a fuck who was going to get caught in the crossfire.
No,
because he had business. And on top of that, I think honestly that Atherin had a little older business dealing there because that ass beating was like motivated.
It was. I love when like Hildy grabbed a hold of Shin and was just like, this is what friendship is like. He's like, but the commander's getting his ass kicked. And he's just like, he's doing this because they're such good friends. Let them work it out. And then it just pans and it's that JJK meme of fight back. Fight
Yes.
back.
You know, honestly, poor man Hilda. Hilda.
Oh gosh.
But no, yeah, like it was just great. Like, you know what though? There is one. I think that's like the main negative is because of Agnes. Her whole like, I was rejected, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the first fuck boy that likes me.
Because
I think that was so unnecessary.
She just could not admit that she liked Shin. Because let's be honest, Shin's kind of stupid.
Well,
But that works in his favor, especially when he goes seed mode and he goes full thick skull, smooth brain, no thoughts.
it's like, oh, does he have no thoughts? Yeah, Shin doesn't use his brain.
That's when he performs the best.
Yeah, and so speaking of that,
Oh, they gave my boy. Oh, they finally did right by him. The first half of the movie, you know what they did my boy dirty? They did him right when they gave him the destiny again.
I loved the level up that he got, because it was just like this, like, you know, like in the in Endgame, whenever Thor arrives and freaking Bruce Banner pops out of the Hulk Buster is like, oh boy, you guys are screwed now. That's basically what happened when Shin arrived in the Destiny, because he's and I love the line that he said. He's like, the justice was holding me back.
So I want to touch on that. And you know what? We'll go back to my thing in a minute. When he said the justice was holding me back, he could not fight in the justice because that suit was designed for Atherin.
No, yeah, I get it. Yeah, and I agree.
It was designed for Atherin, but Atherin was just like, nah, I'm going to get married and I'm going to stay in Orb. Until shit got out of hand and he's like, get the Zagok ready.
Get the Zagaka in my not Justice Spec 2.
It's like, do you need a backpack? Yeah, throw an X-Wing on that bitch.
Man, you are salty about that shit.
So, I loved. It's weird to see Shin happy, but when those hangar doors open and Morgan Rowe was like, hey, I've got suits, don't worry about it. And she shows the Gundams again, and Shin's like, with the Destiny Gundam, no one can stop me. And Hildy's like, slow your roll. That shit had me cracking up.
Hey, you know, and for as much as Jahan may hate the Gundam Menace, I think by the end of the movie, it was the only suit that besides the Gundams, that didn't lose a fucking appendage.
It was. And Hildy did some work in that Gelgoog Menace once Lunamaria got the impulse back. But
So
I was,
hey, man.
hey, so I was really worried at the at the halfway point of the movie when the Justice was destroyed, and you know they're dogging Shin the whole movie. I'm just like, they're not gonna do my boy justice. This is gonna hurt my feelings. And then he started piloting the Destiny Gundam, and he did not take out one, not two, not three, but 4 of the Black Knight squad by himself. Soloed the Black Knight squad and killed 4 of them.
That was so great. I'm not gonna lie, man. I enjoyed the fan service on that. I was like, damn, man. They let Shin have it. Like, they just let him do it. They let him cook.
Dude,
And
that little bit of
God.
encouragement that Kira gave him, it did my heart so good to see Shin actually be happy, be a competent pilot, and get a W, like a deserved W, because he actually is a really good pilot, which is why I like the nickname Freedom Killer for him.
Okay, so now you said that was actually a really cool, like just a really cool comment that, like, when they call him the Freedom Killer and like the facial expression he had, he almost felt bad.
He doesn't like that name.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the fact that his skill, his ability, his feats have become his notoriety basically for being the one to take down the Freedom Gundam.
Yeah.
And it's notably his attitude changing in Destiny after that moment is kind of a rocky point for a lot of viewers. I get it, but like his reaction to being called the Freedom Killer was really cool. It's very telling that because him and Kira's relationship has literally evolved, and it's more like he understands, he respects the role, and it's just really cool.
He also still feels a little. He feels like his and Kira's relationship's a little rocky still.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that. That's nice.
It looks so good. He put the damn work in. He's over here freaking shadow clone jutsu and making copies, just wrecking people.
Yeah, man. Oh, dang, clear. Here's a picture of the silhouette pack.
So the Zeus silhouette. I think now would be a good time to talk about the Zeus silhouette.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can.
So if you can't find it, so the Zeus silhouette is a gigantic railgun and 2 booster units for the legs. It is used by Mulaflaga and the Akatsuki, and Shin uses it. And it is. Oh, there's a good picture down there. Woo, there it goes.
Yeah, like look at this monstrosity. Like it's kind of like, and I said like it's like an apex for the Destiny. And I'm actually really excited to see this kit because the Spec 2, the high grade Spec 2 comes with the silhouette pack. So, I mean, I'm buying it.
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna get it too. I also like, I don't know if you noticed, but right there on the back end, right behind the shield, the actual ECAP rounds for it look really, really similar to the ECAPs for the Unicorn's Beam Magnum.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you got a big ass bird mode.
Yeah, of course you got to have a bird mode.
But no, yeah, I really like the silhouette pack. I thought it was really sick. An additional tool on top of the meteor units.
Yeah. I like how Moo just showed up. It was like, hey kid, I got your equipment. And he's just like, what equipment? And then he gets it and immediately understands what he needs to do with that giant ass gun and the boosters.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I need to go wreck everything. And he does.
That was just beautiful. Like, I really liked that. I liked seeing that.
It did my heart good. And Moo using it to start with, I knew the Destiny was going to use it. That kind of got spoiled for me, but I didn't know how it was going to be used. But to see Moo use it with the Akatsuki, and then to ditch it immediately so it wouldn't get damaged, so he had full access to the Akatsuki's beam absorption and reflection ability.
Yep.
Oh, that was good when they were taking out Requiem again.
It was just such a really good strategic use of the pack.
And a very strategic use of, again, the beam absorption and reflection ability of the Akatsuki. Like, I mean, Moo didn't waste any time. He fired it off. He ditched the armor, turned it into the bird mode, sent it away so he could absorb and redirect the full force of that beam from Requiem.
Yeah, because I was like, oh man, is he gonna bite the dust? But he was able to just like block everything. I'm like, ugh.
When he showed up with Akatsuki, I was just like, oh, I know what's about to happen. Let's go.
Let's see, what other notes? Okay, so we'll go back to
the Mighty Strike Freedom.
Do you want to do that, or do you want to do? Oh god, where'd you go? This guy.
We could do that.
So this is what's it, Calrea? Mechanized Squad Calrea. So this is basically this is Orphe's personal suit.
Yes.
And very elegant design. Has these are large gun bits basically, or dragoons in the back. The thing is, it's a beast. Like it puts the work in against the Freedom. I mean, against the Strike Freedom. Strike Freedom? No, Freedom.
Strike
Oh,
Freedom.
Yeah, Strike Freedom.
Strike
I mean,
Freedom.
It beats his ass. Like, but he's able to kind of keep up a little better. But it's funny because the statement kept coming up like, "Oh, you were fighting us with these antiquated suits," and hey, you know, the Destiny was keeping up and overtaking.
So I think this is a really cool design. I like that it's got a Dragoon system like the Strike Freedom does. I like that Kira for once was on the back end of what it's like to be beam spammed. He did not like that at all, but he does that to everybody. So it was neat. I like that it's got physical blades as well. That's a really nice touch with it being like a knight-like suit. And for anybody that's wondering, this high grade that's coming out is going to be really cool because all of the gold trim is an underlaid piece of armor. So, like, you're not going to have to paint. You're not going to have to do a reverse wash. Bandai did good on this one. It's also going to be very expensive. So, yeah.
Well, it's funny because so Mecha Guy Go-To posted a video saying that the Akatsuki real grade is the most expensive real grade, and I, you know, this is not a flex. This is just me, like knowing fact, right? I bought the real grade Phoenix. That thing costs $125. So it's not the most expensive real grade. Yeah,
no, but it's not far off, to be honest. I think they're pushing over $90 for the Akatsuki, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like 80 or 90. I wouldn't be surprised if the real grade Phoenix would ever reprint to be like 135 or 130.
Yeah,
which is insane because that's only $30 away from the MGEX Strike Freedom.
Yeah,
the Bandai version.
Yeah, because the third party that I'm hoping to get very soon is $86 shipped. I'm sorry, Papa Bandai. It's so much cheaper.
My God.
Okay.
So there was actually a local guy that had the black version of the MGEX Strike Freedom here. He brought it to a local build. I was like looking at it. I was like, oh damn. But yeah. Overall, and then obviously
it's a good enemy suit.
Yes. So to close it out.
Kira Yamato has transcended the status of Jesus and literally become God.
I feel this suit is disrespectful. It's trying to take the title of Unicorn or Turn A and Unicorn as the most OP suit. So because once this pack got installed, Morphe couldn't win a shot. Yeah, no, it was over.
Like literally, Lacus immediately went seed mode. She did the whole one-hand targeting system and used like some electromagnetic something out of the backpack and killed like 50 people immediately. And then Kira requested access to use the head beam. Still haven't figured out what technology that is, but it like bent an invisible beam around the moon to strike ships and destroy them.
And also it was able to like cut and slice asteroids. I mean, like just precision.
Yeah, he used it one other time to like cut the arm off of Orphe's suit.
Yep.
And I'm just like, what it can use it more than once?
I'm like, damn, the amount of energy that it takes.
So I don't get it. I knew like the electrical ability or lightning ability or whatever it was. I got spoiled on that. I knew that was coming, but whatever that head laser is, I had no idea about that.
That was definitely something that I was like, oh, because I know that the Metal Robots has that it opened up, but there was never any description of what it was.
No, and the high grade of the Mighty Strike Freedom that's coming out shows that there is a separate part. Like it switches out the defend crest for that, but it's just like it's a beam weapon, and I'm just like, okay, cool. It'll probably shoot a couple people at us. What the fuck did it just do?
Like, it was crazy because like the moment that it plugged in, it was just like game over.
It was game over.
Except for the gratuitous trademark
Ass
see
shots.
see jiggly bits.
Yeah. The fan service. Honestly, the fan service I'm used to with Seed.
Yeah.
I'm not used to Lacus being the fan service.
So I think definitely it was one of those, you're trying to appeal to a different crowd, and I understand, but no, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, and the whole like almost like what felt like was about to turn into a rape scene with Orphe and Lacus.
That was wild to me because like she
It was in
basically just
bad
kind of like
taste.
she kind of basically just like stayed there, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, you can do whatever you want. I'm like,
Don't do
But-
that.
but honestly, all in all, though, after everything that we went through, everything we discussed, like I think I'm definitely gonna watch it again whenever it comes out on Crunchyroll. I probably think that we'll probably end up doing like a group watch. Pretty sure.
We should. I think we should.
Yeah, I think I like it. Like I think that as far as the Gundam movie is concerned, it was a good entry. I think if I had to rank it above any of the new modern ones, I still think that Hathaway's Flash is probably like near number one for me. It's just because it's just so beautiful.
I was literally watching that right before you and I started recording.
And on top of that, I'm wrapping up the last 5 episodes of Gundam Age. So like when it comes to like enjoying quality, it's hard because I'm like, oh, because like Gundam Age. And by the way, I'm not going to talk about that because that's the next episode. But
Yeah. So I got
so
before we close it out, I got one more thing about the movie that really threw me off.
okay.
Product placement in an anime movie.
Where did you see product placement?
The Honda motorcycles.
Huh.
So I don't know if you know this.
Oh,
but-
whenever they did the like the slice of life part.
Yeah, like the whole picnic, and when like Lacus goes to answer the phone, they have Kira's motorcycle and Lacus's motorcycle like in their house, which is a wonderful house, by the way. That thing is huge.
Hey man, she's the president.
But did you know that Japan, those are 2 real motorcycles from Honda, and Honda actually used this movie as an opportunity to advertise those motorcycles, and they also did a commercial campaign of Kira and Lacus both riding their motorcycles together to the picnic.
Fine.
Those are real bikes. They
Excellent.
really exist. They're actually Hondas, and I'm not used to product placement in an anime movie. But I mean, hey, good on you, Honda.
Well-
Get it where you can.
Well, like aside from like because Jollibee is sometimes in Gundam, so it kind of just like
For the longest time, I didn't know Jollibee was a real thing, and I thought it was
No.
just a reoccurring
oh
thing.
I went to a Jollibee in DC last time I was up there, not this time but the time before, and I ate. Okay, so I gotta throw this in there because it's kind of hilarious.
Don't
So, like-
have it. I don't have it down here.
No, man, I didn't know. I thought it was like a West. I think that the closest ones I thought were West Coast, but no, dude, I'm driving around. All right, typically when I go to DC, I go to this little area called Annandale. It's kind of like a little Korea, and in Annandale, specifically where I go, there's a shop called Little Thingamajigs. It's an anime store, but they have an ass ton of Gundam.
Yeah, you
There's
sent me
4
pictures of that.
locations, right? The location that I go to this is close to a bakery called Shilla Bakery that I get Japanese bread, milk bread, a bunch of other things. I do this like little like I do my rounds in that part of in Annandale. But when I oh my god, where was it going with this? Holy shit!
Talk about product placement, Jollibee.
Oh yeah, so I was hungry. So I was kind of hungry that night, and I was like, "Oh shit, I want to get something to eat." So I literally like put my phone up, and then I like I said, restaurants, and I see Jollibee. I'm like, "You gotta be shitting me!" And I click on it, and it's like a mile up the road. I'm like, "Bet I'm going to Jollibee." So I go sit. I sit there, and I look at the menu, And I'm like, okay, so what's special here? And they're like, oh, the chicken strips, the burgers are okay, the spaghetti, and I'm over here like, in my
The
mind,
spaghetti?
bro, hold on,
What?
I got you. Basically, their recipes. If anybody out there that knows this better than I do, please comment on the thread to correct me, because I am literally just speaking from very, very minimal recollection about why. But what I was told is that because Jollibee is Filipino, if I'm not mistaken,
I
some of
thought it
the
was an anime
recipes,
thing until earlier this year.
bro, it's real. They have them in Hawaii.
Apparently, I've been to Hawaii.
They
Never saw it.
they add sugar to like the spaghetti sauce.
Yeah,
So it tastes a little sweet, kind of.
I mean,
So the flavor profile's a little weird.
I put a little bit of sugar in my spaghetti sauce, but I
Really?
mean, I'm talking like a little bit.
It's a noticeable amount. Like
No,
you can,
like I make a big batch and then I jar it because Anyways, I make a big batch at a time, and I put like maybe one or two spoonfuls. Like I'm talking tablespoons, like 2 tablespoons in a whole freaking like vat of
So,
spaghetti
like,
sauce.
the sauce is noticeably sweeter, so it's kind of a little different than like your typical spaghetti sauce. The noodles are different slightly. The chicken strips, whatever. But they do have this juice, this pineapple juice, that it unlocked a core memory because it tasted like a pineapple juice that I remember drinking when I was a kid in Puerto Rico. And it was like in a tin can that had like this little like plastic film that you pull the old cans that it's not like a pop open, but when you drink from it, it has like this like little plastic film. It's a core memory for me. It tasted exactly like it, and I was like, oh shit. But no, yeah, I didn't eat the burger because burgers are burgers everywhere for the most part. It's a fast food place, it's not. But the strips and the spaghetti. Oh, and they have adobo rice, which is really good.
Oh,
But no, yeah, I went to Jollibee. I was like, I sat there, and in my mind, I'm like, well, check the box for Gundam related experience. I made it a Jollibee, and I told my wife, and she was like, that really? And I'm like, yeah, because Jollibee's in Gundam, and it's an anime for the most part. And I was like, yeah, it was Jollibee, so it was kind of hilarious. But yeah, like before we close, like I said, we'll be back in the studio tomorrow, because we're gonna be recording the next episode. We're gonna be talking about Gundam Age. It'll be I don't necessarily want to say a deep dive. It'll just be kind of like our impressions, and because I am actually new to watching Gundam Age, I had never seen it before. This watch through. Ready Builder 2, Seth, and Jayhound, they've seen it a couple times.
yeah, I think I'm on like my 4th watch of it or something. I enjoy it.
so-
It's fun.
So yeah, we're just so that'll be the next episode that we do. And again, we just had to kind of push everything over because of real life events for both Jayhound, myself, and Seth. So like this now gives us a nice little breather because I'm not gonna lie, we were going pretty good, but I think it was a good thing that we took a small break. But here we are, rejuvenated. We're back at it again.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Seth, I got a new base.
Dude, is that one of the ones that Mecha Guy Kotsu just reviewed with the LED? Yes! They're like $17 a piece.
Well, more like 25 a piece from Gundam, but no, it's great. I'm gonna take pictures with it. But no, yeah, that's what I got. I really appreciate you guys sticking around. If you stuck around with the spoiler area, I really appreciate you guys sticking around. Tune in for the Gundam Age episode, and after that, we're gonna start switching back and forth with Pommel stuff. We have a few folks that have actually reached out to us to want to collab on some episodes, so we'll stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
You got anything for the folks, Seth?
No, I just thank y'all for hanging out with us. Thank y'all for checking out this special episode of Thunderbolt Radio. I'd like to do more stuff like this in the future, but with Seed Freedom just dropping, and it was only like 2 days, 1 sub and 1 dub showing, you know, we had to sit down and talk about it because I think my wife is sick and tired of hearing me gush about this movie, and I needed to talk to somebody else. Like she's like,
I need to talk to a friend.
I need to talk to somebody else that understands it.
Like I said, man, I really enjoyed it. I like the rule of cool, and the movie really, really, really like took the rule of cool, you know, and went for it.
So
But,
if you are a Gundam Seed Freedom fan, or a Gundam Seed fan in general, I truly believe you're gonna like this movie. It's awesome. For those of y'all that have never seen anything from Gundam Seed and want to jump into this movie, I think you'll enjoy it, but you're gonna be lost on a lot of the plot and like what the Destiny plan is and everything that's like leading forward and how everybody got to where they are. I don't think this is a movie you can just jump into. So definitely check out Gundam Info. They usually have Gundam Seed streaming and Gundam Seed Destiny streaming, at least the HD remaster version. So definitely check that out. Check out Seed Freedom when it hits streaming and home release in November. And thanks for coming out.
yeah, man. Yeah, and like always, like, subscribe, share, do the thing. If you got any comments for the YouTube folks, drop it below. For those folks on Spotify, definitely rate us. You know, tell us if you like our content. If you have any ideas for anything, we have an Instagram for the Thunderbolt Radio. Check it out. Shoot us a message, or shoot myself, Seth, or Jay Hound a message, and we'd be glad to take your critiques, as long as you know, just be cool about it. Don't be like, I can't believe you like C. Hey, bro, deal with it, dog.
Yep.
I actually loved the movie. Like, I thought it was just a really good watch. So yeah,
Yep.
we out here.
Oh, one more thing. Just a reminder, everybody, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. I will talk about this on the next recording as well. So just remember to take some time for yourself, breathe, do something you enjoy, try to disconnect from work if you can, and just take care of yourself mentally to the best of your ability.
Great words, man. And with that, you guys take it easy. Later.